Hello and welcome to the network service of the NTA. You're watching nationwide. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. We now begin with President Muhammadu Buhari's visit to the United Arab Emirates. The United Arab Emirates has indicated willingness to key into the next level agenda of the Buhari administration by exploring opportunities in a broad spectrum of areas critical to the socio-economic transformation of the two countries and their people. This was when the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, played host to President Muhammadu Buhari on the sidelines of the annual investment summit just ended in Dubai. State House correspondent Adam Musambu reports that the president is back in Abuja.
The high-level engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, was a follow-up to the judicial agreements earlier signed between their countries on extradition, transfer of sentenced persons, and mutual legal assistance on criminal matters. Apart from resolving to intensify faithful implementation of the agreements, the two leaders also promised to deepen existing cooperation in the areas of defense and security, artificial intelligence, health, education, as well as climate change.
The Crown Prince felt that we could be doing a lot more together, and of course that they are very happy with the situation in Nigeria where Mr. President has brought the country to, and so they very much want to key into that. Clearly, I think what they are seeing is that Mr. President has laid a very solid foundation during his first term. They all congratulated him on his election victory. They all expressed happiness that he has been re-elected, and they are now looking forward to taking advantage during his second term to really take altogether Nigeria to the next level and engage with Nigeria at a higher, a more intense level.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who appreciated the support of the United Arab Emirates to Nigeria's efforts at fighting terrorism, insurgency and corruption, made a case for prospective investors to come and explore the abundant opportunities in the country. Nigeria, he maintained, is indeed ready for business.
Mr. President has been able to really showcase Nigeria, talk about what we have, the opportunities in Nigeria for investment, and it's given assurances that that the government will do everything to reinforce the enabling environment for them to come to Nigeria and invest. And he's made the point that those who want to invest in Nigeria, who want to come into Nigeria, who want to cooperate with Nigeria, that they will see a government and a country that is really ready to partner with them.
Meanwhile, the annual investment meeting attended by the president in Dubai has ended with some of the participants from Nigeria describing it as an eye-opener.
The people of Niger State, I can assure you, most of our youths are IT compliant. They have shown interest over time in the use of applications and through their mobile phones and iPads. So I think the areas the government can come in is to support this process for efficiency, transparency, in the private sector to enhance their capacity to improve their profits.
I've heard that one of the companies wants to take our sesame seed, hibiscus flowers, and goat meat as well. You know, we are good at it. We are also, there is also the possibility of exporting mangoes out of Jigawa to different hyper supermarkets in the world.
We have a very clear-cut digital strategy. Working with Google and Main One, we have over the last several months invested quite a bit of money and also dug up 400 kilometers of fiber connection within Benin City and environs. We want to make Edo State the digital hub of the south of Nigeria.
Already, President Muhammadu Buhari has returned to Abuja after a successful outing at both the Investment Summit in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, as well as the World Economic Forum on the shores of the Dead Sea in Jordan, where he delivered keynote speeches. Adam Musambu, NTA News.
While in the United Arab Emirates, President Muhammadu Buhari assured Nigerians in the diaspora that his second term will consolidate on the key achievements of the last 4 years, aimed at making Nigeria more secure, prosperous, and corruption-free. The president was speaking when he hosted the Nigerian diaspora in the United Arab Emirates. Foreign desk correspondent Makut Simon Macham has that.
Dubai, a destination for many Nigerian travelers, has been in the news lately. And as President Muhammadu Buhari rounded up his visit to the United Arab Emirates, where he had delivered a keynote address at an international investment summit, he made out time to interact with the Nigerian community.
President Muhammadu Buhari.
His entrance into this hall, packed full with Nigerian professionals living and working in different fields in the United Arab Emirates, was much anticipated as the diaspora community was eager to interact with him. With the stage set by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyama, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Diaspora and Foreign Affairs, Abike Dabiri Erewa, Nigerian Ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, gave President Muhammadu Buhari an update on Nigerians living and working in the UAE.
Notwithstanding the despicable behavior and activities of a fraction of Nigerians in this country, Nigeria and Nigerians are still held in high esteem by the government and people of the UAE.
Then the opportunity came for Nigerians in the diaspora to ask President Muhammadu Buhari direct questions.
What do we Nigerians expect in this new dispensation of the next level?
Nigerian treasury looters, what are you doing to bring them to justice?
Responding to their concerns, President Muhammadu Buhari reassured them that Nigeria was on the right trajectory as he remains committed to taking the nation to the next level.
I'm sure you are an informed group of Nigerians. You know what we campaigned on 2015 based on 3 issues: security, economy, and fighting corruption. I have gone public so many times to explain where we were, where we are, what we have been able to do with resources available to us from the time we came into now. The next level is to consolidate whatever we have done initially.
The president also urged them to continue to be honest and hardworking so as not to allow the conduct of a few bad elements overshadow their great contribution to their host country. The diaspora also presented gifts to the president and also a cake to celebrate his victory at the last elections. From Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
Away from the president's visit now. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, sees global economies slowing and is urging leaders around the world to handle the delicate moment with care. Leah Katung-Babatunde at the 2019 spring meeting reports that the IMF says trade tensions between China and the US will likely affect commodity exporters like Nigeria, as lower oil prices are expected in the year 2019.
1 year ago, economic activity was seen to be accelerating in almost all regions of the world, with global growth projected to rise by as much as 3.6% in the years 2018 and 2019. However, this much has changed, no thanks to US-China trade tensions, macroeconomic stress in Argentina and Turkey, disruptions in the auto sector, tighter credit policies in China, and normalization in larger economies. This weakness is expected to persist into the middle of this year, with global growth projected to decline further to 3.3% from 3.6% recorded in 2018.
Policymakers need to work cooperatively to help ensure that policy uncertainty does not further weaken investment. Fiscal policy will need to manage trade-offs between supporting demand, protecting social spending, and ensuring that public debt remains on a sustainable path.
Now, for sub-Saharan Africa, and in particular Nigeria, global oil prices will be a major determining factor of the direction of the economy in the year 2019.
For Nigeria, the important price that does matter is what's happening to commodity prices. And if, because of the trade tensions, there's going to be a weakening in global growth, that can have a larger negative effect.
The global economy in the second half of 2019 is expected to witness a pickup, with growth projected to return to 3.6% in the year 2020. From the IMF headquarters in Washington, D.C., I'm Leah Kating, Babatunde, NTA News.
Thanks, Leah. And back home, Senate is to appropriate funds for victims of Zamfara crisis, as it also urged the federal government to constitute a presidential committee on the crisis. This was contained in a motion moved by Senator Kabiru Marafa from the state. Ignatius Unko tells us more from the National Assembly.
Well, this is not the first time that matters bordering on security, especially in Zamfara State, will be coming on the floor of the Senate. Senators spent close to 2 hours considering these two motions bordering on loss of lives. And then here I have Deputy Minority Leader, Senator Emmanuel Bwacha, who wants to talk to us on some of these motions, particularly from the motion by Senator Kabiru Marafa on the need to establish a presidential committee on Zamfara crisis. And then he will still talk to us on the matter of personal explanation, which he brought on the floor as regards to increasing cases of kidnapping in Taraba State. Thank you for joining us.
Well, the Marafa motion generated a lot of interest because of the state of insecurity that we are facing now in the country. Marafa has consistently raised alarm over the issues of insecurity in Zamfara before the matter generated to the present disastrous dimension. And we think that more measures should be taken. We should act more than what we are doing now, so that we don't find ourselves in the position Senator Zana rests in the 7th Senate before we went deeply into the serious security challenge we're having in the Northeast now.
Then on the kidnapping in Taraba?
In Taraba, the matter is assuming a similar dimension, because in Zamfara, it started with a pocket of kidnappings. When their nest became fested, it blossomed to a larger and huge security. In Taraba, as we speak, people are being picked, and in the broad daylight, you cannot travel without security aids. And in most situations, like I said, it becomes worrisome where you are kidnapped, you are asked to pay ransom, you pay, and yet you are not released. In most cases, these people, they get killed. So it is a terrible situation.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Still on security, the Air Task Force, ATF, of Operation Diran Mikia has continued to record successes in its renewed air offensive against armed bandits in Zamfara State and its environs. A statement by the NAF Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibikule Daramola, the ATF coordinated intensive air raids against multiple identified armed bandits hideouts at Damboru, Sububu, West Malamawa, Baturia Pond and Rugu Forest, where several bandits were neutralized and their camps destroyed. The airstrikes, which were intensified on 8 April 2019 with the deployment of additional aircraft, are aimed at flushing out the bandits from their hideouts in these forests, amongst others, whilst ensuring the protection of the lives and properties of citizens in the northwest of the country. Reports indicate that as a result of the airstrikes, some of the bandits are fleeing towards the border between Nigeria and Niger Republic. Accordingly, the ATF is liaising with relevant authorities to ensure that the bandits are prevented from escaping through the southern part of Niger Republic. Meanwhile, the Kogi State Police Command has inaugurated Operation Puff Adder, deployed to the state in line with the directive of Inspector General of Police. The 340 police personnel are to complement the force in crime prevention and control. Francis Udojo reports.
Following the upsurge of armed banditry, kidnappings and cattle rustling in some states of the Federation, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, launched Operation Puff Adder to reassure citizens of the safety of lives and property. This informed the deployment of 340 personnel comprising units from Police Mobile Force, Counter-Terrorism, Special Tactical Squad, Explosive Ordnance Department to Kogi State. Operation Poof Ada, the Commissioner of Police, Kogi State Command, Hakeem Aramide Busari, said it also involves massive deployment of well-trained, equipped and well-motivated personnel geared towards ridding Kogi State of all forms of crime and criminality.
The Inspector General of Police charged the Special Squad with the following responsibilities, among others: to appreciate the worrisome crime situation in Kogi State and quickly design a template and contain the same; to identify all criminal syndicates, their leaders, foot soldiers, sponsors, and arrest them with operational precision.
The commissioner therefore called on stakeholders, especially traditional rulers, religious leaders, politicians, to give the police maximum support in cleansing the state of all forms of criminal acts.
Those who engage in criminal activities are warned to desist from such and hand over their arms and ammunition to the police and engage in something meaningful for their life, or be prepared to face the full consequences of their action.
The Commissioner, Busari, while charging the officers and men to be disciplined and professional in their line of duty, also carried out special inspection on the personnel. In Lokoja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Away from security, the House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill for an act to establish the National Institute of Construction Technology and Management. Forwarded from the Senate for concurrence, the bill seeks to ensure that manpower training is provided in the field of construction and engineering technology towards addressing the issues of buildings collapse in Nigeria. The lawmakers also passed for second reading a bill for an act to establish Defense Intelligence Agency Pension Board to be saddled with handling pension matters for personnel of the agency. Ambode inaugurates Transition Committee. Let's join Michael in Lagos for update of this and other stories trending in that zone. Hello, Michael. It's over to you.
Hello, Lydia, and welcome to Lagos. We begin nationwide with good news that the Lagos State Director of Fire Service and 6 others have regained freedom. This followed a sustained operation by the Lagos State Police Command's tactical team, led by Officer in Charge of Anti-Kidnapping Unit, SP Bulos Musa. 2 members of the kidnapping gang that adopted the Lagos State Fire Service Chief, Rasaki Musbau, and 6 others on the 6th of April 2019 at about 8 in the evening. The suspect, namely Blessing Bayo and Smart Alfred, all of Ondo State, were arrested on the 10th of April at about 5:30 in the morning at Ibadan along Ikorodu-Ijebode Expressway, a boundary community with Ogun State, and they all confessed to the commission of the crime. Moving forward now, the Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has inaugurated a 20-member transition committee that will be saddled with the responsibility of ensuring a seamless transition to the next administration on May 29, 2019 at the State House, Ikeja. Nusa Osula has the details.
Inaugurating the committee, Governor Ambode, who was represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Tunji Bello, said a smooth transition to the next administration was imperative to ensure that the machinery of government continues to run smoothly without any hitch, considering the economic importance of Lagos to Nigeria.
In order to achieve this objective, we are gathered here today to inaugurate the transition committee under the joint leadership of the Deputy Governor-elect, Mr. Obafemi Hamzat.
In his vote of charge, the Deputy Governor-elect assured that the committee would immediately commence its work and ensure that everything done is in the interest of the state, adding that it would be a transition of the same government as the incoming administration would build on the existing template to move the state forward.
The Lagos State has always been a pace setter in everything, and that's exactly what we do here. So not everybody on this state prominent suggestions.
Members of the committee include the head of service, Hakeem Muri Okwonla, Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Adeniji Kazim, and Special Advisor on Urban Development, Yetunde Onobule. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
Stakeholders in the fight against irregular migration have again called on Nigerian youth to go through appropriate authorities before embarking on any foreign trips. This was the central message at a seminar in Lagos. Our Yusuf Jibo has the details.
Statistics by the European Union ambassador to Nigeria, Kettle Carrison, indicates that Nigeria accounts for 60% of 10,000 irregular migration cases recorded in the last 2 months. It is against this backdrop that the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons and other agencies organized the seminar to resensitize Nigerian youths on the dangers of irregular migration.
This is time to warn them about unplanned journey. This is time to warn them about dangerous journeys. This is time to warn them about peer pressure. This is time to warn them about not embarking on what they don't really understand. This is time to warn them for them to enter school and face their studies and become functional members of society.
Issues raised at the seminar include dangerous methods introduced by traffickers and foreigners promising greener pastures, but their victims end up as slaves.
Many of our people who are migrating either have no idea at all or have no information at all how bad it's going to be over there. Based on this less of information, many of them are trooping out there, complaining and saying Nigeria is bad, Nigeria is bad, Nigeria is bad, and going through the sea and through the desert, or even flying, but illegally.
Try and go through the right channel. If not, you may find yourself in any kind of harassment.
Consensus at the end of the seminar is that Nigerian youths must always embrace patriotism, selflessness, and stay at home. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, has presented relief materials worth millions of naira to disaster victims in Lagos. And the Daniels reports that the Director General of the agency, Dakuku Peterside, said it is part of the agency's corporate social responsibility and will be replicated in 19 other states in Nigeria.
The items ranged from edibles to household items. Presenting them, the Director General, NIMASA, Dakuku Peterside, represented by Director of Special Duties, Hajia Lamitumaka, said it is in compliance with the federal government's appeal for organizations to assist in the well-being of disaster victims across Nigeria.
Last year, we went to about 15 states. Yes, this year, 20 states. Lagos is the start. So when we come and make these contributions, at least it takes care of some of the problems.
To receive the items, we are staff of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA. General Manager LASEMA, Tiamiyu Muyiwa Adeshino, noted that there are about 700 disaster victims resident in the relief camp, including those of the recent building collapse and demolition in the Safaji area of Lagos.
When we had flooding in Lagos, they were part of the corporate entity that supported us with various gift items and support materials for victims of that unfortunate incident too. They are here today again with probably the biggest so far of the support we have seen.
We appreciate them, and may God Almighty continue to enrich their pockets.
The Lagos State's Emergency Relief and Resettlement Camp in Gondo is one of the 2 camps provided by the state government for temporary habitation for victims of disasters. These victims are expected to vacate the camp after 3 months. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Lagos. We head back to Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Michael. Moving on now, the House Committee on Power has urged electricity distribution companies, rural electrification agencies, and other contractors handling power projects in the country to embark on more investments that will drive the sector. This was when the committee inspected some ongoing power projects in the Northwest Geopolitical Zone. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
The oversight, basically, is to verify allegations of sharp practices with regards to remittances by discos as contained in a report by the National Electricity Regulatory Commission. Issues on metering, load rejection, recapitalization, contract market investments, energy allocation and tariff are other areas of concern for the committee.
The remittances from discos, who are actually the ATM of this value chain, is on the decrease was still going down.
The members were not impressed with the pace of work at the Bayero University Kano Rural Electrification Initiative, a 3-megawatt solar hybrid power project designed to energize the university community to improve productivity and academic excellence.
What we are doing is to refurbish everything that's not working.
This committee is investigating fraudulent award. Fraudulent award means processes were not followed. Fraudulent award means that pricing would have been inflated. Fraudulent award means that specifications might not be met on ground.
Unavailability of component facilities to enable the turbines function in full capacity was a major setback observed by the committee members, who also inspected a wind farm generating about 4 megawatts of electricity in Katsina State.
For instance, this place is unmetered. We are working with Discada, and the off-takers want to see what is being delivered.
The federal government has invested this much. We are calling on the Katsina State government to please support this project by giving proper security cover.
The lawmakers believe that findings from the oversight will be a guide to the National Assembly towards prioritization of funds allocation to projects captured in the 2019 appropriations. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Now, the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Usani, has assured host communities of Nigeria producing oil and gas, host-CAM, of federal government's unrelenting efforts towards executing developmental projects and programs that will benefit the entire region. The ministers made this known while receiving the group on a courtesy visit in his office.
Those of us who are from the Niger Delta region are very concerned about what goes on. Well, let me say those of us who are from there at this particular season of the administration who are managing the affairs of the region, we are concerned and passionate about it. And this is the reason we have taken several initiatives to guarantee whatever opinion we have on how we want to accomplish our targets and the strategies for doing that.
Fund has been paid monthly, collected by FRS, pay to the Federation accounts. We are playing this ministry to ensure that this money will speedily be released to remediate the suffering of our people. For all these years, gas have been fled.
Joseph Johnson reports that HostCom is a pressure group representing all oil and gas producing communities in the Niger Delta region, as well as the mouthpiece that advocates the development and remediation of the degraded environment of the communities where oil exploration and exploitation have been going on for decades. Understanding the concept of migration and appropriate application and usage of terminologies associated with the migrants on reportage was a focal point at the capacity building workshop for media practitioners conducted in Kefi by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons in collaboration with Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. Suraj Abdullahi has more.
With the migration becoming an emerging global issue, concerns are raised on the consequences of the trend. These inform the idea for this capacity building workshop for media practitioners on how best to report issues related to migration. International Organization for Migration statistical data shows that about 1 billion migrants, accounting for 1/7 of the world population, is worrisome and pose major developmental challenge globally. Federal Commissioner for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Sadia Umar Farouk, in a message, noted that media is key to addressing the migration issue if properly acquainted with relevant terms and concepts.
Media helps in shaping public perceptions of migrants as well as ensuring that migrants have equal access to migration.
But how well are media coping with this story, and how is migration really being reported? This remains a contentious issue and one that is of significant importance for sound public action.
The right use of words or terminologies in migration by the media could mean a lot.
Participants lauded the initiative, describing the workshop as skill booster.
This training will equip journalists on the way to report migration issues.
In any report, we should not just follow footage being sent on social media. We should do our own findings first.
To ensure that the media are truly carried along to project and to amplify the messages and the narrative.
To stakeholders here, migration is not a crime, especially when it is done legally and within the laws of the host countries. Suraj Abdullahi, NTA News.
You're still on to Nationwide. Theater Command Special Court Marshal dismisses flight lieutenant for defiling 14-year-old girl. Abubakar in Maiduguri is standing by in Maiduguri to give us details of this and other stories making the rounds in that zone. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Lydia, and thank you for joining us in Maiduguri. The Theater Command Special Court Marshal of Operation Lafia Dole has dismissed a flight lieutenant of the Nigerian Air Force for defiling a displaced 14-year-old girl taking refuge at Bakassi IDP's camp in Maiduguri. Here are more details of the story. Delivering his judgment before journalists as well as the prosecution and defense counsels of the culprit, President, Theater Command Special Court Marshal of Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Yakubu Auta said extensive investigations which began in 2018 when the incident happened clearly shows that Flight Lieutenant Martin Ewerem of the Nigerian Air Force raped Zara Ali, a 14-year-old internally displaced person from Marte local government area of Borno State, taking refuge at Bakassi Camp, Maiduguri. After narrating the matter from its origin by the judge advocate Captain Aminu Meirua, the president categorically pointed out that the offense borders on 3-count charges, which include defilement, disobedience to standing order, as well as assault. Major General Yakubu Auta explained penalties for the offense as stipulated in the Nigerian Armed Forces Act as follows. Count 1, dismissal from the armed forces. Count 2, discharged and acquitted, while count 3 is reduction in rank from flight lieutenant to flying officer with loss of seniority for 3 years.
This is a signal to the public that the armed forces is always committed to protect human rights of all the citizens we are saddled with the responsibility to protect. We shall continue to operate within the confines of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. According to him, discipline, respect, and protection of human rights are sacrosanct in the Nigerian Army. Following intense heat and harsh weather conditions being experienced these days in Maiduguri, the rate at which people drink water has drastically increased in avoidance to dehydration. Memuna Garba takes a look at the situation in the wake of the heat waves in Maiduguri.
To 44 degrees Celsius. No doubt, during such weather conditions, people are usually advised to increase water and other liquids intake to reduce effect of the weather and keep the human body working. Therefore, people regularly take water, especially during the daytime when the weather is at its peak.
I drink water up to 10 to 15 sachets daily because of the weather.
I think situation in this town, you have to be regularly drinking water to avoid there is kind of one disease they call it rana in this town. So I think if it catches you, I think the normal circumstances you have to be drinking water regularly.
I drink a lot of water to avoid dehydration.
Consequently, water hawkers have sprung up in all the nooks and crannies of the state capital as they are now making bricks business due to the high demand for water.
I make profit selling water. In a day, I get from 2,500 naira to 4,500 naira.
Though the weather is harsh, yet a lot of people make gains selling water. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Maiduguri. Time now to take a break to bring you more reports shortly. Stay with us.
Many thanks. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We'll take a short break. Nationwide continues in a moment. Don't go away.
A new edition of TV Guide is out with special focus on the role of the media in election coverage. Exclusive on the National Broadcasting Commission, its mandate as the sole regulator of Nigerian media. Dr. Thomas Daba then and Ishak Modibo Kawu now. This edition also features the king of stand-up comedy in Nigeria, Ali Baba. NTA Standard to be ready for election transmission after decades of abandonment. Find out from the DG transactional elections in our political space. An evil wind that blows no good. DG, National Orientation Agency Conference. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, x-rays the impact of social media on electioneering process as electorates present their expectations from incoming government. Meet some TV professionals behind the screen and other inspiring stories in sports, entertainment, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Thanks for staying. The positive lessons of the recently concluded general elections will go a long way in shaping the conduct of the governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states later this year. This is the thrust of a parley between the Director General of the National Orientation Agency and some journalists on the outcome of the 2019 polls. Timothy Yusuf has details.
The choice of the media at this meeting is born out of practitioners' commitment to the success of the 2019 general election, largely observed to be credible against the wishes of some enemies of democracy.
How much can we leverage on this very far-reaching role of the media? I have an agency that is running on a shoestring budget, but I also have stakeholders that are the pride of the country.
While the National Orientation Agency has a citizen engagement role with Nigerians, the media agreed no less that it owes the nation a social responsibility.
The National Orientation Agency has a very, very big role to play to see that voter apathy is not observed anymore in the conduct of our elections.
The need for more sensitization of the electorate, especially in the area of voter education towards curbing voter apathy, formed part of resolutions of the meeting. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
More on health matters. In view of the emerging issues and challenges confronting albinism community in Nigeria, efforts are being made to review the national policy on albinism with a view to facilitate and improve their lives through access to social services. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Sonia Chono, stated this at the inauguration of a technical committee for the review of national policy on albinism. He said the services include education, health, employment, reduction of stigma and discrimination, as well as inclusion into socio-economic, political and cultural development of the country. Mr. Echon observed that the national policy is in conformity with the United Nations efforts to mainstream persons with albinism.
Reviewing the policy will equally facilitate adequate planning and allocation of resources to albinism issues in Nigeria, to empower such persons, the various organizations in the sector, and the decision makers on issues of albinism and the development of effective inclusion and participation.
Is to provide an enabling environment where everybody will be carried along. No knowledge seems to be invaluable for soldiers who are to protect the territorial integrity of the nation. This explains the visit by the Year 3 cadet officers from the Geography Department of the Nigerian Defense Academy to the headquarters of the Federal Fire Service. Kunle Adeyeye reports.
Challenges like these might come in the course of their duty as soldiers, and surmounting them requires expertise they have acquired while in training, and the experts in firefighting best serve this purpose to get these training soldiers ready.
Every firefighter is a geographer by extension because of his responsibility. It requires a firefighter to have a fair understanding of physical feature and population around him for effective protection of lives and property. It is for this reason that firefighters carry out topographical studies of areas under their jurisdiction.
Head of the Department of Geography in the Nigerian Defense Academy, Dr. Bolanle Ajibwa, was categorical that drills in advanced rescue operations and combating fire outbreaks, which the cadet officers have been put through, have broadened the horizon.
The collaboration we are also having, we were discussing and having a chat with the commandant, and we said by the time we are in the full fling of this program, there are a lot of things that we have in common to share. Our cadets were highly elated and they asked a lot of jamming questions.
With this knowledge, the cadet officers are expected to perfect their firefighting skills, which may come handy in their career. In Abuja, Kunle Adeyeye, NTA News.
Our next port of call is Ibadan, and Kemi will guide us. It's over to you, Kemi.
Thank you, Lydia, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. Experts have advocated an approach that will combine literacy and skill development to improve people's lives and means of survival. Participants at the 2019 Interactive Literacy Conference said this in Ibadan. Correspondent Shola Wahid has the reports.
The conference is aimed at highlighting the challenges and opportunities in the promotion of mass literacy, information communication technology, and skills development in the Nigerian context. Participants at the event suggested that education has a key role to play in addressing the multifarious challenges facing the country to achieve the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. They suggested that focus of education must be shifted from acquiring basic reading and writing skills to learning of skills that could be used in sustainable economic development.
So we continue to appeal to federal government, state governments and the local governments, and of course the private sector and non-governmental organizations to redouble their efforts in terms of resourcing these important sectors.
People from far and near for the purpose of improving literacy, and not just literacy now, along with skill acquisition.
With hard skills, you improve your intellect. With soft skills, you improve your overall personality traits.
The occasion featured presentation of awards of excellence in literacy promotion to Babanladi Shetima of Kano for his various contributions to the development of education in the country. The 2019 International Literacy Conference is part of the 70th anniversary of the Department of Adult Education, University of Ibadan. Shola Wahid, NTA News.
Wife of Oyo State Governor Florence Ajimobi has joined other prominent Nigerians to be admitted as a fellow of the prestigious Chartered Institute of Public Resource Management in Politics, Ghana. The institute said this is in recognition of her outstanding managerial qualities Ayomiku Ajibola reports.
The investiture of wife of Oyo State Governor, according to Dr. Opoku, is recognition of her track record as highly accomplished public service personality and worthy elder stateswoman who has made and still making socio-economic impact towards national development for the progress, peace, and unity of one Nigeria.
Selling qualities in leadership towards ensuring excellent service delivery have impacted positively in your sectors, your nation, and the global stage at large.
Responding, wife of the governor says she is delighted and humbled to be recognized by fellow Africans. According to her, Africans need to come together to synergize their ideals and purpose and to chart a course to move the continent forward.
Indeed, I am committed to bringing the vision of change we desire in Africa to reality.
Other Nigerians who have been awarded in this category include wife of the President Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, Chief Afe Babalola, and the Emir of Kano, among others. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Ibadan. It's back to Lydia in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thanks, Kemi. The newly appointed Director General of the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESREA, Professor Aliyu Jauro, is set to compel companies committing environmental crimes to the courts and pay the necessary fines as contained in the amended NESREA Act. Professor Aliyu frowned at the high level of non-observance of environmental regulations by beverage companies, noise pollution, and uncontrolled emissions of poisonous gases by automobile operators, and these are areas the present leadership of NESREA will focus more on.
Some of this enforcement. But before the amendment of this act, NESREA is handicapped. But now with this amendment, very soon we'll go after all those industries and farms. They must abide by the law. So we have a set out regulations. So if they don't abide by that, we are going to enforce our regulations.
Enugu State Governor lays foundation stone for the State University for Education. Chinyere in Enugu has details of this and more from that zone. Good to see you.
See you. Thank you, Lydia, and welcome to Enugu Network Center. As part of the activities to commemorate the 55th anniversary of the Nigerian Air Force, the Ground Training Command of the Nigerian Air Force, Enugu has provided free medical services to some rural communities in Kano West, local government area of Enugu State. Jude Abugu reports that mostly women and elderly, the children benefited from the free medical outreach.
The Air Force medical team was led on the free medical outreach to Obeke and Okorota Abane by the Air Officer Commanding Ground Training Command in Air Vice Marshal E.D. Amin. The officers attended to the health needs of the members of the communities by checking and screening them for common health conditions such as blood pressure, malaria, and stroke.
The essence of this outreach is, one, to foster the relationship between the military and the civilians who are our own host community.
Those who benefited from the free medical outreach also received free counseling on how to manage some health conditions. They expressed gratitude to the Nigerian Air Force for the interest it has on their well-being.
We thank God today that you have heard the cry of the community by rescuing us in supplying all this medical.
Some pregnant women and the sick were presented with insecticide-treated nets and free drugs. In Enugu, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
Car owners and commercial bus operators across the country have been advised to check the status of their tires before embarking on any trip. Chika Ugu, who reports that key players gave the advice in Enugu, said this has become imperative to check the spate of road accidents resulting from the use of substandard tires.
These are original tires imported from China into Nigeria. They were confiscated from a warehouse in Port Harcourt by some security agents Substandard Organization of Nigeria, and some ministries. Upon investigation, it was discovered that the tires are standard but were stuffed into one another, a process which experts revealed destroyed vital components of the product, making them substandard and no longer fit for the road. They urged members of the public to always inspect tires before purchase.
Because of greed, to make more money, they go into all these practices. And once they go into these practices, they render the tires dangerous.
We all collaborate, otherwise no agency can do it all. Talk of security, say something, say something. Anything you notice, just say it out.
The agencies were commended by the Ministry of Environment and Mineral Resources for the developed technology used in destroying the tires in the environment by burning.
Respect to the environment. They are not in a measure to solve a problem. They are not creating another problem. They are doing it in a sustainable manner. They are destroying the tires using a shredder. I mean, it's a very good thing to see.
The exercise, they noted, is a continuous one, adding that officials of the agencies have been mandated by management to remove all such substandard and stuffed tires from markets across the country. In Enugu, Chika Ogu, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Enugu. Is back to Lydia in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thanks, Chinyere. Another break beckons at this point. Nationwide continues shortly.
Marketing of broadcast media products requires special skills which can only be acquired through training and experience. NTA TV College Jos is therefore organizing an intensive 3-week course on modern trends in broadcast media marketing. The course will equip participants with necessary skills to deal with contemporary marketing challenges and competition in the broadcast media. It is an essential course for marketers in the broadcast media to sharpen their skills and improve their capacities. Date, 23rd April to 10th May 2019. Venue, NTA Television College, Refuge, Jos. Course fee, 100,000 naira per participant, accommodation inclusive. For more inquiries, please contact us on 0803 314 4383 or 0806 980 9807. NTA TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
You can follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Get the latest news and updates from across Nigeria on NTA Nationwide. NTA Nationwide, weekdays by 4 p.m. Get it first. Get it fresh.
Next is Sports Update with Amazi Marcus.